Got a sunset over here, so look a booth. This. Come on, we have to go down, go see what I go on. Incentive. Hello. How are you? Good, good. Just gotta take that off video. Dang. Play music in my background.
Villagers called this place Great Meadow because of its bountiful seaweed and salt. The little village of Sagaponack, south of Great Meadow, benefited greatly from the convenient location of Great Meadow. By 1694, Sagaponack was feeling the need for a port from which they could ship their goods, namely whale oil and salt cod, and they called the place Sagaponack Harbor, or Harbor of Sag. The first mention of the name Sag Harbor appeared in the Southampton town records of 1707. By 1730, there were 3 houses in Sag Harbor. During the period from 1730 to 1761, Sag Harbor grew rapidly as more and more settlers came to the area. Sag Harbor had grown into a major shipping port, and in 1742, a wharf was built to accommodate this new industry.
Oh, that fun.
Years later, in 1761, Nathan Porter Jr. and James Foster built the first sturdy wharf-and try works at Sag Harbor. Try works consisted of a furnace in which iron try or well pots boiled down whale blubber into oil. It served shipping needs until 1770, at which mortgaged in East Hampton Town and South Hampton Town acquired land from property owners to build a new wharf. This was the original Long Wharf from where we just set sail. In 1772, the first day trip from New York City to Sag Harbor was in operation, and by 1775, the shipping industry in Sag Harbor grew as ships set out for the West Indies. In the late 18th century, life in Sag Harbor was good. Businesses prospered and the wharf became a center of activity. As a seaport, Sag Harbor was second in importance only to New York City. Products from farm, forest, and sea were shipped to major cities in eastern North America and ports in the West Indies. Unfortunately, this rosy picture was not to last as the country plunged into war with the British, a war that was to have a devastating effect on Sag Harbor and the rest of Long Island. In August of 1776, several volunteers from Sag Harbor and surrounding areas took part in the Battle of Long Island. After that disastrous confrontation, patriotism quickly diminished. Sag Harbor suffered a hostile occupation by the British, who set up a strong garrison and naval blockade, preventing the port of Sag Harbor from sending supplies to the invading army. During this time, many of the active participants in the war thought it unsafe to stay in the area. Out of 32 homes in the village, 14 of Sag Harbor's most patriotic men and their families left Long Island in fear of their lives. Montaudon's Revolutionary Incidents states that on September 15, 1776, the wharves of Sag Harbor were crowded with people awaiting passage across the Sound to Connecticut. And there was resistance. In retaliation to British occupation, a plan was devised by which British troops in Sag Harbor were captured and British ships were burned. The surprise attacks took just 25 hours and became known as the Meade Expedition. After 7 long years of suppression under British rule,
Asiado.
In 1922, the Ladies Villager Building Society met and discussed the possibility of acquiring land in the Hamptons property to provide the residents of the village with their own bathing beach. The stretch of water property east of the mansion, offered by the landowner Hamptons, was accepted and named Hamptons Memorial Park in memory of Frank's Hamptons. And that there was plenty of pirate gold about, even though no Long Islander ever was a real pirate. Captain Kidd buried treasure on Gardiner's Island in 1699. It's useless, however, to dig up Kidd's treasure, for all was dug up and turned over to authorities long before Kidd met his death in the gallows. There is another story that Kidd also buried treasure at Montauk Point. 2 small ponds at the foot of the hill on which Montauk Light stands have been called money ponds ever since Kidd's time. One is said to be bottomless. Captain Kidd's Long Island adventure was in June of 1699. On his way to Boston, on stepping stones from the area near the present Shorewood Stone Dock to North Haven. The story's credibility is enhanced by Nathaniel Sylvester's issuance of an order in the late 1600s demanding that Southampton residents restrain their horses and cattle from wandering onto the good grazing land on Shelter Island. By the late 1800s, the Clark family, the same is true today. The South Ferry is still owned and operated by the Clark family and continues to operate by the creed of ancestors past, to do whatever it takes to provide the best possible service safely.
Wow.
North Haven, originally known as Hog Neck, was purchased from the Native Americans of Shelter Island in 1665. This is considered to be the first real-estate activity in the town of Southampton. By 1680, Hog Neck was inhabited by families from Shelter Island and Southampton who bought land there. However, gravestones on North Haven date back to 1640. In fact, during the early 1700s, Sag Harbor, which was mostly woods and meadows, was considered to be a suburb of Hog Neck. By 1770, there was a thriving salt industry on Hog Neck. Salt was collected out of vast salt mines by means of evaporation. During the Revolutionary War, refugees fled to Connecticut from Hog Neck, and livestock was shipped from here to supply soldiers with food. All the British Army seized 100,000 livestock from the area. Soon there came a need for improvement, and in 1796, the first schoolhouse on Hog Neck.
Pick up and go. The taxi. Oh, taxi. Where's a toast bread with tomato and white cheese? And sparkling water. still there, man. You feel so? Restaurant. Probably have a yard chef man there. Second round. Probably full up, man, that's why I feel weird. Port Antonio, but the name, great name, Alandria.
think the one by Manhattan is like this, so you can consider. Alright?